What's up, guys? It's your boy LV, and today I wanted to show you guys how to get all of these iconic abilities. A lot of people don't know about these abilities. I know a lot of players are just now coming back to the game. Some players are returning players, some players are new. So the bad thing about DC is that they don't show you these abilities. They don't really describe them. They don't really do a well job in telling you how to get it. They're just kind of in the game, and some of them you can't even get, at least not right now. So we're going to talk about the ones that you can get and the ones that you may get in the future. So let's start off with the ones that you can get now, because we're positive people. We look at what we can do now and not at the negative. So the ones that you can get now is Bat Swarm and Nemesis Lasso. Those are the only two that you can get as of right now. If you don't have any of these other ones, you cannot get them. We're going to talk about it later in the video. But Bat Swarm, you can get it. But what you have to do to get it, before we talk about it, is number one, and this is the best option, you contact me and I can get you it for a much affordable rate than anywhere else. Okay, now the other way is that you can go through the broker and you can literally look up Bat Swarm. Now look at the price. Look how expensive these things are, because they're that rare and they're that powerful. So I would highly recommend you guys to contact me if you guys are interested in getting it, because you guys can see how expensive it is. Now you may wonder, how did those people get the Bat Swarm? Okay, so let's talk about that. Dark Knight's time capsule. They got a bunch of these Dark Knight capsules and they kept opening them. Now you may say, okay, how do I open the time capsules? Well, you have to have something called a stabilizer, as you guys can see on the top. The only way you can get stabilizers is if you buy it through the marketplace, and you have to use real life money to be able to buy the stabilizers. Now the bad thing about it is that those time capsules are a complete gamble. You can pay hundreds of dollars and not get the item. That's why it's best if you either buy it through the broker or you buy it from someone that directly has the Nemesis Lasso. The Nemesis Lasso or the Bat Swarm, sorry. The Nemesis Lasso, I'm happy I accidentally said it. It's the same concept. You get it through the time capsules, you can get it through the broker, or you can get it through someone that already collected the entire collection. Now, I am privileged enough to be able to sell you guys the Nemesis Lasso and the Bat Swarm at an affordable rate. So that's why I direct you guys to contact me. But without further ado, I want to show you guys the gameplay with the Bat Swarm and with the Nemesis Lasso. So we're going to hop into showing you guys some live gameplay so you guys can see how powerful the Bat Swarm truly is. And then you guys can tell me if you guys think it's worth getting or not. So let's go ahead and go into live gameplay that I clipped off my stream. And by the way, make sure you guys are following me on Twitch, elvyedecoo, over on Twitch. Follow me. I do face cam over there. I do streams. I do all types of gameplay. So make sure you guys are following me there.
Oh yeah. W.
Oh my god, look at those numbers on my screen. Yo, that's Bat Swarm. That is literally Bat Swarm. What the fuck? Did y'all see that? Hold on, we need to clip that. Now, one thing you guys will notice is I'm ice, right? And a lot of people, and I would, if you guys didn't watch my ice gameplay video, you guys should. But I posted, I believe, this entire raid gameplay. But I'm ice, right? A lot of people don't think ice is good, right? But if you utilize your iconics properly with ice, even ice can beat other powers like water or rage. But you have to utilize your iconics to the correct extension. So that's what you guys see me do. I use Bat Swarm and I also have Lasso. My loadout, if you guys notice, I also use Lasso. I have Lasso in my loadout and I also have Bat Swarm. They're both meta right now. Look at those amount of damage right there. I mean, it speaks for itself. It speaks for itself in regards to the damage. Now, to explain Bat Swarm a little further on how it works. Bat Swarm basically is, every time you cast an ability, it unleashes a cone of bats from you to your target and dazes them. So it adds the PI. So if you have any moves that benefit from this PI, it'll do those moves to do you more damage. But here's what the broken part is about Bat Swarm. Since now we have two loadouts, if you know how to set up your loadout correctly, if you clip more moves, your Bat Swarm is going to do more damage. More damage. And then if you use combo moves, let's say like water, and you're using a combo, every time you use a combo, it counts as a superpower, making the Bat Swarm just do extreme amount of damage. So that's part of the reason why in that clip I do so much damage, because I clip so many moves at once. So if you know how to clip and you tie that to Bat Swarm, it's even broken. Now, if you want to go the extra mile, you pop Neo Venom, which increases your strength, defense, and damage output, and then you pop the Bat Swarm, which is, I believe, what I did. Then you're going to get some insane numbers. So that pretty much wraps up Bat Swarm, how to get it, what it does, how to use it. Now, we're going to talk about Nemesis Lasso, and then we're going to talk about these other iconics. Nemesis Lasso, like I said, you could get it through the time capsules the same way. And as I'm, doing what I got to do to show you guys Nemesis Lasso, I'm going to explain these other iconics. These other iconics were event iconics, or I guess you could call it seasonal iconics. They came out during certain seasonals, and you can only get it during those seasonals. They didn't come out through time capsules. They came out during the seasonal. So for you to be able to get them, you would have to wait until that seasonal came out again. I believe the closest one is the Spore Pod, which the Spore Pod is really good, and that's going to come out in the spring event. At least it should, because it came out last year in the spring event. You basically throw the Spore Pod, and it does ticking damage, and then it blows up, and it does even more damage. Now, when the ads die, it also blows up. So it basically has like a contagious effect, which makes it really good. And that's something that you definitely want to have, but if you don't have it already, you can't get it. So you simply have to wait and see if they re-release it. If they ever do, I will be sure to let you guys know. Now, going back to Nemesis Lasso, because this is the pinpoint of this video. How does it work? What's the best way to use it? Okay, I want to start off by saying Nemesis Lasso is an execution move. Meaning, you can only use it. Let me turn down the game sound. You can only use it if the enemies are under 50% health. If they're over 50% health, it's not going to do anything. They have to be under that 50% threshold, and then it executes them. If you guys don't know what execute means, then I don't know what to tell you, but basically kills them. So, how to use it? Well, there's one thing you have to know. If you look at the top where it says Spartan Target, at the top of my screen, you see a guy or a skull face or whatever. If they have no glowing eyes, then you can lasso them. If they do have glowing eyes, and I'll show you an example of the glowing eyes, which are usually sub-bosses or bosses in the fights, then you are not able to lasso them, okay? You can only lasso the ads that don't have glowing eyes. I will repeat that again. You can only lasso the targets that do not have glowing eyes. Now, how to use the lasso? You press the ability, and then you tap your range triangle, and you cancel the animation. When you do that, it's going to one-shot all of the ads if they're under 50% and if they're ads and they are not a boss. They can't have glowing eyes. Now, if you look at the damage, okay, if you look at the damage, 9 million, 11 million, 9.7, 11 million, 8.2 million. Now, the damage that it's going to do is just going to depend on how much health the ad has. Like, if it's at 49% health, then it's going to do the most amount of health. If the ad's at, let's say, 22% health, it's going to do less. It all depends on how much health they have, but they have to be under 50% damage. It's very simple. You want to pop the lasso when the ads are at like 55, 60% health. And when you pop it, if they are, it's just going to one-shot them. If they're not, then it's just not going to do anything, as you guys just saw there. If they're under 50%, it one-shots. If they're not, it doesn't do anything. Now, I did want to note, a lot of people are like, oh, he's only one-shotting because of his artifacts and his augments and stuff. And let me just tell you guys that that's just not the case. And I'm going to show you guys the proof of that. I'm going to lower these ads. I'm going to lower these ads down just so you guys can see how broken this iconic is. I'm going to lower these ads down. Okay, they're all under 50% health, right? And I'm going to show you guys for the people that be like, oh, I'm low level. Let me take off my arts. I'm going to take off my arts. And I'm going to take off a piece of gear. And I'm going to go use lasso. Oh my, they regenerated health. How amazing. That's fine. Let's do this. I'm gonna get them down real quick. I'm doing this all live for you guys. Live commentary, live everything. Because again, it only works if they're under 50% health. If they're not under 50% health, then it won't work. They have to be under 50% health, guys. Very important. I'm really looking at this one ad right here in front of me. Okay. I gotta be quick or they might regenerate again. Take off my art and I took off a piece of gear. I run over. Lasso. Still one shots. You see? I know you guys had to wait a little bit. It still one shots them. Okay? So for all the people that are like, oh, he's max CR. Artifacts. That's the only reason. No, guys. You don't even need artifacts. It has nothing to do. Look, I have no artifacts on. You don't need artifacts. You don't even need to be max CR. I'm 474. All you need to do is follow these 2 rules. I'm going to put it in text. They can't have glowing eyes, and they have to be under 50% health. Now, again, if you guys are interested in buying it, you can go to the broker and buy it if you have DC cash, or contact me and you guys can get it at a much cheaper and affordable rate. But if you guys want it the other way, you guys could gamble your luck on the time capsules. But I do not recommend that. So that pretty much wraps up with the Nemesis Lasso. It's very straightforward. You'd want to have it. It doesn't matter what power you are. You want to have Bat Sword, but you want to have Lasso. Last thing I wanted to say before I kind of go over the other iconics is that if you guys notice a pattern, for my smart viewers, for my viewers that could think outside the box, just like I like to think outside the box. If you guys noticed, did you guys notice the fact that they dropped a Bat iconic capsule called Dark Knights, and then they released a Bat Swarm, and then they released the Bat Swarm with the Dark Knights capsule, Absolute Dark Knights, and then they dropped Absolute Amazon Time capsule, and they dropped a Wonder Woman Lasso. Now they planned, it's already been leaked out. If you didn't watch my video, I showed the time capsule. They leaked out that they're going to be dropping an Absolute Superman time capsule. That means that they're probably going to drop another time capsule, and it's going to have another iconic. So let me know down below if you guys are going to be getting that iconic, and not only that, but what do you think they're going to do? I think it's going to have something to do with a Frost Breath or a Heat Vision, and something that's has its own mechanic to it. And I also, my theory is that it's going to be really good for single target. So we're going to see if we're right, but let me know down below what you guys believe, and let me know if you guys are going to be getting it. Now, when that does come out, I might be selling some of those as well. So make sure you guys are joining my Discord and contacting me on the game or on Discord if you guys are interested in any of these iconics. But now I'm going to quickly go over the iconics that you guys are not able to get, even though I kind of went over them. You got Spore Pod, you got Magma, and you got Scarecrow. And then you got Atlan, and then you got Shadow Curse. Okay. Now, oh, and I forgot Starbolt. Starbolt basically is a single target ability that gives you supercharge over time. So if you look at the top left of my screen, every time I press this ability, it's giving me supercharge. When I hold it, it gives me even more supercharge. Every tap is 50. When you hold it, it gives you 200. So it's really good for single target because you not only are you doing damage, but you're also creating supercharge. Now, these other first 3 are basically all kind of similar. They all do ticking damage, Spore Pod, and then you have Magma. It's basically a lava pool, and then it does a bunch of ticking damage. And then Scarecrow is a tear gas that you throw over the enemies, and then it does ticking damage. They're pretty much all similar, so it doesn't really matter which one you use. I would highly recommend Spore Pod because Spore Pod, you just throw it at them. Once it's on them, it does the damage, while Scarecrow and the other one, Scarecrow has an animation to it, and then Magma, if they run out of the lava, it doesn't do damage. Now, Shadow Curse, I would only recommend using Shadow Curse on AoE, but then if you use Shadow Curse, you can't charge your Omega artifact, which if you guys don't know what the Omega artifact is, I did make a full video explaining it on my art guide. But I don't recommend using Shadow Curse because it's just going to slow you down from using your Omega, so I don't recommend it. And then the last thing is the Atlan pet. It's basically from Aquaman. You bring on an Atlan pet that does damage. It's pretty cool, but there's definitely better supercharges out there to use. But I do think it's a pretty cool concept. They should have just made it a little bit better. I think it would have been doper if they made it where we can hop on the pet and do like damage temporarily, or added some mechanic to it where we can turn the pet into a turret or something like that. Something a little more interesting. I definitely feel like they could have done something more cooler. But either way, I think it's pretty cool that you can call in an Atlan pet. But I think that pretty much covers it. Other than that, we do have obviously the White Lantern abilities, which are super dope. You get to be a White Lantern and pop shields and use White Lantern abilities. So there's a lot of new iconics. Like I said, we do have a new developer team, and they are bringing a lot of new iconics to this game. I personally like it. A lot of people say, oh, I don't like how everyone's using the majority of their loadouts or iconics. They're not using whatever. Personally, I feel like, for one, you're not forced to use the iconics. If you want to use your abilities, you can use your abilities. But the iconics are just good. There's something refreshing. There's something new. And I personally like them. I think that it's cool, especially now that we have 2 loadouts. We're able to combine. Look at how my loadout is. I have a Wonder Woman lasso. I have a Poison Ivy effect. I have Mental. I have White Lantern. I have a Bat Swarms from Batman. Like, I have my hero, my superhero that I created has a mixture of everything. Look at how cool these Bat Swarms are. It's literally an aura of bats. While I have a White Lantern shield. Like, it's stuff like that I personally think is dope. But a lot of people are going to say in the comments, oh, this is dumb. Why did they add so many iconics? Personally, it's a preference thing. If you don't like them, you don't have to use them. You're not obligated to use them. You can easily swap them out and use your, whatever your power set power is. But personally, I like them, and if other people like them, then respect it. That's all I got to say to that. But without further ado, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Again, if you guys are interested in buying a Nemesis Lasso or the Bat Swarm, make sure to contact me. But without further ado, I'll catch you guys in the next one.